Welcome to the webinar this afternoon. We are excited to be talking about BreakoutEDU, and we will get started with that content in just a few minutes, but I want to start with just a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, I have everyone's line muted. Please keep your line muted throughout the call so that we don't have background noise, so that we can clearly hear our presenters, who will get started in just a few minutes. We will have the chat window open as you see, hopefully you see that on the right side of your screen. If you don't, just click on the chat icon and you will see the chat window on the right side of your screen. If you haven't taken a moment to introduce yourself in the chat box, please do that and tell us your name and where you're connecting to us from, where you teach, and if you have any experience with BreakoutEDU. Some of you may have heard about it. I saw one person has kits, the comment just recently, has kits ordered and coming. Other people, it's brand new too. I was very unfamiliar with it until just a few weeks ago and still don't know much about it, so I'm anxious for the next hour to learn a lot more about it. And I have one person asking about the audio, so I am responding to that. Okay, so keep your audio muted, ask questions, and make comments and share in the chat window. Hopefully it will be a dialogue between participants, ideas on how you can use this or how you have used it, and then also questions of our presenters and other participants. You all are a great resource for each other. So we will move on. So just some upcoming professional development opportunities that we have. We are in the middle. We're about 3/4 of the way through a book club that's through a blog. So that's an anytime sort of professional development opportunity that you can still take advantage of if you're interested in the Innovator's Mindset, a new book by George Couros. Some of you have probably heard him at Summer Learning conferences or other conference opportunities. So we're reading that. Feel free to jump into that conversation. Even late, you can go back and catch up. We are offering professional development or PGPs for that. So if you're looking for a way to get PGPs, this is a pretty great way to do it. More information on that can be found on our website. Also, if you are on Twitter, and hopefully all of you are, and if you're interested in connecting with each other outside of this webinar, feel free to share your Twitter handle also in the chat box. But we have a pretty active hashtag in the state of Indiana, INELearn. Please be using that hashtag on a regular basis to be connecting with other Indiana educators. And then also we have a Twitter chat on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and tonight is our regular monthly digital leadership series with Amy Haven. Also, we've got a couple of upcoming webinars still in the works, so be watching for more information on those coming out from our office. We post that on Twitter and on our website and the Learning Connection, and we try to get everybody where they are. So watch for details coming soon. Those look to be, I think they're going to be about digital content. So something to be thinking about, moving into in the next 2 months, we'll be moving into the end of the school year, summer planning. So a great time to be thinking about digital content moving forward. So I hate to talk about next school year when it's only March, but webinars in April and May, we'll be doing that. So. Okay, it looks like without further ado, we're going to move to the meat of our webinar today. I'm happy to be joined by Kline and Chris Young, who are joining us from Peru, Indiana today after having launched a weather balloon earlier, I believe. So they are going to be talking to us about BreakoutEDU today. I'm going to unmute them, and I'm going to turn the presentation over to them. So can you hear me, guys?
We can, thank you.
Okay, and I can hear you, so I'm changing you guys to the presenter, and everybody will see their screens change. Again, as you're making comments in the chat box, everybody, make sure that you choose to send to everyone from that send to drop down. Oh, did I make the no? Okay, the wrong person is the presenter. Hang on a second. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That is not who I picked. Let's try this again. Okay, it says it's going to Chris. We'll see what happens.
Can you see my screen?
I cannot yet.
Okay. I'm not seeing that share button. There it is. Oops.
And it looks like it's changing.
Here we go. Now I think we're good.
Yep, I see it now. Okay, hit it, guys.
All right, excellent. So my name is Chris Young, and I'm the Strategic Learning Coordinator in Southern Hancock Schools, which is about 15 minutes southeast of Indianapolis. And presenting with me is
Kline. I'm the Math Curriculum and Technology Integration Specialist at Delphi High School, about 15 miles northeast of Lafayette.
And I think we launched a near space balloon for a science classroom in Monticello, Indiana, at Twin Lakes. And so in the car with us as we wait for our balloon to come down are Kurt Schleibaum from Seymour and Marcus Painter from Twin Lakes High School. And so they are joining us as well. So wanted to give them a quick shout out. But anyways, BreakoutEDU, and maybe on the chat, I'd be interested to know if anybody has ever not only done a breakout room in your room, but ever done an escape room. Escape rooms, as we'll talk about, are pretty popular. You know, a leisure activity, something kind of interesting. If you would go on TripAdvisor and look for things to do in Indianapolis, last I checked, it was right below Bankers Life Field's house and above the Indiana State Museum. So they're pretty exciting, and it's a really cool way to leverage something that is going on in what's called pop culture in your classroom. And so it brings instant credibility and engagement with students. So and the computer's going. And so if you're not at all sure what an escape room is, and hopefully the sound isn't too bad, this is a clip from the Big Bang Theory where they went into an escape room. And so this will get you an idea of what Breakout is actually all about. It's loading.
Yeah. The McDonald's Wi-Fi here is a little slow. And loading.
You're about to enter the lab of the late Dr. David Stoltzfus. While conducting studies on slowing the aging process, there was a catastrophic accident, and he died. Or did he?
Ladies?
Are you being polite or scared?
This is cool.
So how do we start? We have to look for the clues hidden around the room.
Wasn't this supposed to be a zombie? Okay, let's hope one of the clues is written on a pair of clean underwear.
Keep it down. We're working here.
Okay, people, how's it going with the globe?
We use the coordinates to locate the city.
I'm putting their city names in the grid now. I'm sure that'll give us the code to the safe. Slow puzzle too fast. Slow down. Just saying. No reason to never finish early.
Which book are we looking for?
Origin of Species.
Here it is.
There's a black light.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, okay. Brothers and sisters, I have none, but this man's father is my father's son. Who am I looking at? Yeah, we get get it. You want greens. Calm down.
If I don't have a brother, my father's son is me, and if I'm this man's father, then he's my son. The answer's son. Oh, there's a picture of the son over there.
I bet the key's behind it. Come on, somewhere else.
Oh, got the key. So that's the key to the door? That's it?
$200 on 6 minutes of fun? Like when he bought that remote-controlled helicopter, and it just flew away.
Sorry, guys. Really thought the puzzle would be better. Well, to be fair, we do all have advanced degrees.
Remember that before you post something else.
So that gives you kind of the idea. You know, you with this kit have locks and different clues that you will hide throughout the room, and students use that to break. You could either give it a key to get out of the room. I don't know that I'd recommend locking students in your classroom and not letting them out, but you know, the idea is they're trying to solve some sort of puzzle, so it's kind of an advanced scavenger hunt. So Kyle will talk about kind of what it is and why do it.
Okay, so when you get your boxes for BreakoutEDU, basically what it is you have an opportunity to engage your students in an activity that's going to get them up out of their seats, moving around in the classroom, or you might even be outside of the classroom. And it's just a fun way to get kids to participate. You know, everybody has those students that just kind of sit there, especially if you're, you know, just standing up talking and everything. BreakoutEDU is really designed to get kids participating no matter what their skill level. I think the biggest thing that it really promotes is collaboration, teamwork, critical thinking. You, as the teacher, as the one that's running the BreakoutEDU activity, you find out pretty quick which students are really engaged. But as a facilitator, it's also your job to get those kids that are kind of lurking in the background to also start participating. And so I think it's much easier during a breakout session to find your kids and to try to engage them and to push them forward to try to participate in the game.
Yeah, and so, you know, why use it? As I mentioned, it's a really popular activity, and it's going to bring instant engagement and excitement for students. One of the things that I've found really interesting, and a lot of times I find it with the coding projects I do, the star students a lot of times in your breakout sessions may not be the A-plus best student, and so you'll see leadership qualities in students emerge that you may have otherwise not seen. And so it's a really, really wonderful thing. And you know, one of the things with Breakout is it's kind of hard to virtually explain it without doing it, but we've tried here in a second to create one, but this is a really cool sketch of 10 reasons to play Breakout, and it kind of talks about things we've already talked about, so you can kind of look through that. But one important factor is time. You know, so you want to put the kids on a timer. It adds pressure, it adds competition, and it definitely is exciting for the kids.
And I think another big part about it is, like number 9 says, it's student-centered. What you really do is you take the teacher or the facilitator out of the activity, because the kids will want to ask you, well, what am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do? Well, you get only 2 hints per game. And so, you know, you try to tell the kids, well, if you want to use one of your hints, you can, but you guys really need to work together, and you really need to, you know, make sure you check all your clues, and you can't always use us as a resource. So it gives them other options to look for other resources besides just the teacher in the classroom.
So,
Okay, so what are some of the tools that you use in the BreakoutEDU? So if you buy the kit, which is on the left, that's the actual BreakoutEDU box that when you purchase it from their website, it comes with the 5-letter lock on the left, that's the black one, the blue directional lock. You have the red hasp, which you can add in at least up to 6 locks. And then you have a 4-digit lock, you have a brass just key lock, and then up on top is a 3-digit pencil box that comes with it. There's also a black light with an invisible ink marker that you can use. So that's a pretty one on the left. The one on the right is one that my father-in-law actually built the box. And what I did is I just purchased all of the locks myself. Easiest thing to do is, like, you can go to the website and you can actually find it on, like, on Amazon. You can find all the locks, all the boxes on Amazon. And so that's the nice thing about their website is they have a direct link to all the locks from their BreakoutEDU.com. The other thing I've done is I've actually been able to purchase some at Lowe's, Menards, and Home Depot. They have a lot of locks, also not necessarily all of them. The pencil box, though, I've had trouble finding. I guess it might have like a Staples or something like that. But
yeah, and one of the greatest things, too, about BreakoutEDU is, like it said, it's all open source, so you can go to Amazon and buy it yourself. But also the games are open source, too. So if you teach whatever content area, I saw someone was like high school chemistry, I can guarantee you that there's high school chemistry games already created that are just waiting for you to take and use, and it's free, and it's pretty great. So here's what we are going to do. We're going to try to do a virtual breakout, and we'll use the chat to see if we can unlock it. But with any breakout, there's a story. So your job is to unlock the antidote, and it says humans are becoming evil dancing zombies. So if you look on this slide, we've got a red test tube that is locked. Ultimately, we want to get the code to that lock, but there's some other stuff that we have to do first. So if everybody wants to, at the top we have a shortened Google link, the https://goo.gl/J. Thank you. She sent it out to everybody.
Mary's so nice.
But if you click on that, you can click around, and I would like for you to get started. There might have been a hint there.
So we're going to give you a couple minutes to actually try to do this virtually yourself. If you feel that you have the first hint, put it in the chat box on the right. Don't say what you did necessarily.
Yeah,
but
tell us what to click on or what to do, and we can do it. But yeah, so we'd like for you to play along and see if you guys can break out, and we will give you hints as we go along. So does anybody have any advice for which we might start with? The chat's quiet. Maybe everybody's typing in the site or clicking the site. Seth Ponder says to click on the Get Started. So if we click on the Get Started,
I think he's a cheater.
It says, enter the code, ***, enter you shall not. Please enter your zombie password. So does anybody have any idea of what the code could be? The password? That ***, was a big time hint. I will tell you that.
I'll give you about 30 more seconds.
Yeah, we won't drag this on too long.
Oh. Patrick's saying, oh.
Let's try it. Anybody tried OO? Okay.
I think that OO is just, I got it. He's got it.
So when we do that, going further in this project.
Yeah, so what, Chris actually designed this off of Dr. Johnson's lab, and so he made it to off of a Google Drawing, which if you haven't used Google Drawings, it's just a fantastic option for you to be able to use. Within, like, doing a BreakoutEDU game, so we'll see if we can get the links to work.
It's working. It's just lagging.
Yeah. We have a little lag issue here, sorry. Oh, my.
Okay. So if we type in OO,
There we go.
that doesn't work. And so here I will tell you, just to get us started, the circle, circle, dot, dot, we'll have you tell me the code. If you look at it, there are circles on the page, and they're colored circles. There are some that are red, there are some that are green, and there are some that are blue. And if you look at the get started, it goes red, green, blue. The G is red, the green is, E is green, and the T is blue. So if we were to enter the code, how many green, or how many red are there? There are 3 red circles. That's the first part of the code. There are 4 green circles, and there are 5 blue circles. So if we enter the code here, 3, 4, 5, and click next, we get our next clue. And so the clue says, the time for change is not tomorrow, it's today, let's build. How do we redesign the future? Stop leaning on our mistakes. Others don't understand how we can build a better way. Johnson, take over.
So you get about a minute to see if you can figure out, actually about 30 seconds. So
Yeah.
Here, we'll go 30 seconds on this one. You can figure out the clue that we got from the previous clue here.
We need to go somewhere. Where do we go from here?
I think in true BreakoutEDU fashion, we should probably give them 2 hints, or we should let them use 2 hints. So if anybody
Bitly
ever wants a hint.
So yes, if you look in red, is Bitly, B-I-T-L-Y, and then also in red is Johnson Takeover. So if we go to bit.ly.com/Johnson Takeover.
I don't think it was .com.
Yeah.
It's Billy.
Bit.
It's bit.ly.
Right. So let's go there. Good job, Lisa. Boop, boop.
That's right. That's Kurt Seymour, right?
So if we go here, it takes us to a Google site where it says, you will know my wrath. And it's got these pictures, and it's got YouTube videos, precipitation reactions, viral infections. So we've got lots of curriculum in here, Statue of Liberty. And so we can click and watch videos. And this is one where I think we should give a hint, simply because we could spend 20 minutes watching videos that are really distractors. So in here is a clue. However, to find the clue and to know what to do with it, let's go back to our presentation. And if someone clicks on the breakout box, tell me what happens. Click on the breakout box, especially the triangle in the breakout box. There's a clue hidden there on the
something I guess we didn't mention at the beginning was usually what you do is you have a hook for each of the games you do. So the hook for this one would have been, Dr. Johnson is this evil scientist. He has this potion that turns people into dancing zombies, and all the craze at the moment with teenagers and even younger kids. And so this is a fun one to play with really any age level. And so the goal is for the kids, they have 45 minutes to find the antidote or to get into the box to get the antidote.
So that clue was a picture of the Statue of Liberty that says "through my eyes." So since we went to that bit.ly, there's a picture of the Statue of Liberty. If we click on the eyes of the Statue of Liberty, it is going to take us, again, to a new site. And this is really our final clue to unlock that lock. And it is a map. And so we can find the order of the journey right here. And so if we click on this marker,
You want to give them a moment?
they may not have went kind of fast. We can give them a moment. But I'll just click. We've got the Fallon RV Park Country Store.
Fallon?
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have an RV park. We have the Betancourt Southside Dairy. This is an exciting road trip. The Blue Hills Parks and Forests. In Illinois, the Timberlane House. And a field. So is there anything that you can see in these locations that they may have in common that we could use for a clue? I'll click through them again. Come on, chat people. You've done good so far. The Fallon RV Park.
If you notice anything that might stand out, feel free to put it into the chat and help out your fellow chatters.
Exciting news too, our balloon just entered under 80,000 feet, so we're getting data on it again, so that is exciting.
I bet it lands in the back of the truck.
So the chat is quiet on this. So do we give them a hint card?
I'd give them a hint card. I would say, you got to get a hint for this one. I don't know. I love to travel. Things I really like about traveling is like all the colors that I see.
Ooh, Steph Ponder. Are the colors a clue? Yes, the colors are a clue. And so the first one.
Yeah, the main color at the Fallon RV Park would be red. And once we get to the Betancourt Southside Dairy, we have a giant yellow barn.
So we got red.
Yep.
We got yellow.
Yep. And then we go. Next one's going to be to the Blue Hills. Well, there you go. There's blue. And then I think we go to the house, right? Is it the Timberlane House? Yeah, that's purple. Very vibrant purple. And then the last one is the field. I was thinking about it, but they put ordinances up in the area.
We like pink and pink.
And the last one would be green for the field.
And so down here by Orlando, there's no picture. It's a distractor, and it should also draw more attention to the pictures, what they have in common. So now that we've got those colors, let's go back to the Google drawing. And in the Google drawing, we have a lock, which is the final clue. And we are lagging. Okay, so here's our final form. And it says enter your password. And so if we type in red, yellow, blue, purple, green, that doesn't work. It says the antidote is still locked. So does anybody have an idea as to how we can make that into some sort of password? Chat, we're looking at you.
Maybe something a little shorter. Oh, Ann.
Let's try it.
Let's see what Ann has.
RYCPG.
Oh.
And we click next, and it says final puzzle. Success.
Yes.
You've unlocked the antidote. Victory is sweet. Feed these to your zombies, and they will revert back to the human form in no time. So if you were doing this, you might fill your breakout box with candy, and you would celebrate the kids that made it out within the 45 minutes. Like I said, this is a online version of one that is actually like in the Breakout website, the BreakoutEDU website, and so it's called Dr. Johnson's Lab. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. So we are going to skip.
Seth, some of these take I would say different puzzles take different amounts of time. This one would probably take I think it's timed out for 45 minutes. And probably it would take your students really close to 45 minutes. Different ones, it depends how many boxes you have and how much you split up the puzzles for the students. And you'll find out that there will be, like, the different games just have different times on. And most of them, when you pull them up from the sandbox, they will tell you what an expected time amount is for them. Some classes get them done faster than others, and it just depends on the kids and how many of them chat to their buddies.
Right, and it also how well they use their hint cards. I will say one thing: some of these are challenging enough that without good hints, they might not be able to solve it. So it's up to you, really, as a facilitator. You can give them hints and kind of scaffold them to success, or to not having success. I think that learning from your mistakes is a valuable tool, and I would say it's pretty common for students to not break out. In the same way as like an escape room. If you've ever seen friends on social media, they'll post pictures, that said like we did it. But I've also had friends that post pictures that say we don't, and I know I've had friends that went and that didn't post the picture because they didn't. But there are ways that they can improve teamwork, leadership, and really the most valuable part of the breakout is the end, where you sort of reflect back on what it is you've learned, what went well, what could have gone better, where were you thrown off. One thing I will also say, this Dr. Johnson's lab that I did with you, I took a lot of the curriculum out. There's a lot more stuff on viruses, but considering probably not everybody in here is a scientist or as familiar with, the bases, the nitrogen bases of a virus, I kind of took the curriculum out of it, but there is wonderful curriculum in this that has been done.
So Rachel brought up a good point here. Said you just did give teachers had about 10 minutes had to give them a little redirection. I think that's a big part about like as being a facilitator. Your first time you do it, just like anytime you teach something new in your classroom, first time you do it, you may or may not really know what hints to give. The more times you do that same game, you're going to have better hints that give the kids or even the adults a little bit of thinking. So I think, Rachel, you hit on a good point there about trying to, redirecting the teachers and everything.
Yep. And so it says, are there resources out there? And I'm gonna click on some of these. BreakoutEDU.com is essentially the heart of all of this. And when you get to the Breakout site, I'm going to type a password in the box that you will need to be able to view stuff.
Show your mom. I think it's supposed to show your work. Sorry, Mary, we won't let him type anymore.
I had to sit it, so they didn't see anything.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, I just busted you out.
All right, so the password is show your work, and there is a amazing, if you're on Facebook, look up BreakoutEDU. It is the most active community, and honestly, you may want to, once you join it, change your notifications so that you don't get notified all the time because it's so active. But they are really, really protective of this password because a student could then find the BreakoutEDU page on Facebook and then find the password, and then you would have access to all of the solutions. So they do a really good job of not sharing that password. But the password you will need is show your work. Once you're on the site, you would click Get Started.
Or if you don't have a box, you can also go to the purchase part.
Right. And then there are games. And so if I click on games from their main site, I also should add this homework tab. Each week,
we talk about that.
and I think we talk about this later, but each week they do homework where you have the opportunity to try to solve a breakout. And if you win, they send a free kit to you. I've played each week and I haven't won a kit, but it's cool to play. And so anyways, if I click on games, there are kind of two different places games can be. Ones that have been vetted by the people that own Breakout, like James Sanders, who follow him on Twitter. He's awesome.
Yeah, Mark Hammond's actually built the box.
Yeah. Are on just their main site. So like Time Warp is probably the most popular one. When we did the at the coaches ed camp, we did Time Warp. It's awesome. it tells you ages, ideal group size. There's other ones. You know, this one is a language arts one called the Mighty Pen, a STEM one.
And on each of these, you can also see like the group size, amount of time that it would take. Most of them are about 45 minutes, but you can always adjust to maybe fit your time constraints, or you even add more puzzles to the box if you need.
Right. And so if I click, I'm just going to click on Time Warp. If you click play, it's going to ask you, it may remember me because I've already been here, but it will ask you for a password. And the password here, like I said earlier, was show your work. So you would type show your work, and it's going to take you to the site. And the wonderful thing, when I did Time Warp for the first time, a video will load here. It took me, once I had the materials, it tells you exactly what to set the locks to. It tells you the resources. But what I really like are these overview videos. The video was like 10 minutes long, and I had my kit with me, and literally by the end of 10 minutes, I was ready to go for the next day. So one of the tough things, if you try to create your own, it can require a lot of planning, but there is a great resource of ones out there, and you know, they don't take a great deal of time to set up, and they're incredibly engaging. And yeah, did you want to talk about Rachel's?
Yeah, let's go back to the presentation. I think there's this part of the presentation. Okay, we kind of went over the website. The other thing that's really important is the Facebook page. Oh my gosh, this place has, yeah, let's go ahead and click and see if we can get it. And we'll put, if you join their Facebook page, they just eclipsed like, what, 3,000 members less than a month ago, and they're already almost up to 4,000. On here, James Sanders, who's like the main head guy for BreakoutEDU, he will post up, you know, questions about, you know, he'll actually get advice from some of the members, you know, say, well, what do you think about this, or whatever. I can't talk enough about the community. Other teachers post, like, their games. Others post ideas they have about, like, locks that they found. You know, I saw somebody last night that actually put a new lock on there that was a date clock or a date lock, which is cool. And somebody in the past has posted about having a 3D printing a lock, which is also very awesome. But you can interact with people around, you know, the nation that's doing the same thing in their classrooms. That's it. That's one thing I really like about the Facebook page.
Yep. Yeah, the Facebook community is just incredible. And then Rachel Porter, who is on here, and this is the one that she created for her staff, and she also shared one that is just in general, too, that we will make sure we share along with this presentation. We'll share out this presentation, too. But she created an amazing resource. Yeah, I'll share the link here.
Okay, so on her S'more page here, it is basically this one is designed for her own class here. And Rachel, please feel free in the chat to add anything that you'd like. It's for like her own school corporation here, and it's just an amazing, you know, BreakoutEDU resource page and professional development. It's just
so like
sweet.
If you were a teacher wanting to start Breakout but you had no idea how to go, this is like step one, literally steps out to the end. Something else too, if you were a tech person who was wanting to organize this, because that's one of the things that we have 2 kits for our district, and so sharing them amongst the teachers, and you know, it can be a bit daunting, and so this is also a great outline for a tech director or e-learning coach to organize your breakout boxes. That way you get maximum usage out of them within your course. So.
Yeah, and Rachel's also just, I think she created a new, more general, and Chris talked on it earlier, that I think she might have shared in the Facebook group. I can't remember. Rachel, feel free to, you know, let us know. Oh, there we go. And then general version leaves things out. So there's the link for the general. so you can feel free to use that in your own schools. So that's a tremendous resource. I know Rachel's a big BreakoutEDU fan / geek like we are, so just Rachel, thanks for the resource here.
I'm going to top of my slides. So you want to?
Okay, so the next thing would be, Chris kind of talked about the weekly homework challenge, and what they do is every Monday morning, James Sanders sends out an email if you're part of the mailing list, and what they do is they put he puts a homework assignment up, and he lets anybody, anybody can solve it. Students, teachers, anybody with the site can go onto the homework page and can actually try to do, it's just like a smaller game. It's a much smaller version of the BreakoutEDU. So I guess the next thing we want to do is maybe talk about the BreakoutEDU game matrix. And this is still in the works. I know they're still doing this on the webpage. I think Lynn Herr is working on this. I think doing a little name drop there. I think she might be in charge of this, I think.
So this is really, really cool because it shows it's organized by subject matter as well as the grade level. And so if you were like, oh, I am a lower elementary teacher and we are doing weather, well, there is a breakout game for you. Or if you are a, high school science teacher, let's say even psychology, there's the game for you. And so as games get added to what's called the sandbox, they come into here. And it's just a great way, because the community is so big and things are getting added all of the time. This is a fantastic way to find curriculum for your classroom without having to siphon through 100 different breakout games.
Right, because as soon as you put in your show your work password on the beta web page, what they do is they give you a link to their shared Google Drive, and there are just, oh my gosh, tons of games that are in there, but they're not all necessarily on this matrix. So I know I have a couple games, and I think Chris has a game or two in the sandbox. They're not on the matrix yet because we just haven't submitted. It takes an extra couple steps to submit them to get them onto their website.
Right, and Kyle mentioned the sandbox. So if you clicked on games on their site, these are the main games, Time Warp and the Mighty Pin. But there's a thing called sandbox games, which essentially is a link to a Google Drive folder if you have the password, which you know the password now is show your work. And when you type in this password, it's going to take me to the sandbox where I can view all games, which is, like I said, a Google Drive folder. And each game has its own folder. And so, it's awesome that all of this stuff is on here, but it can be a bit overwhelming if you don't know exactly what content it goes to. And so that's why this link here is totally awesome. And so I will share this link that Rachel said she needs down below so everybody also has access to it. Hopefully this link works for you.
And the good thing is we're not going to get in trouble for sharing all this stuff because it's so open source. Another great thing that James Sanders and Mark Harmon have done here, or Hammond, is they want other teachers working with BreakoutEDU, submitting things, because they know the value that a teacher actually has, somebody that's working in the classroom. And so, feel free to share this with any of your fellow teachers or any of your peers that are also wanting to share items here. So yeah, I think maybe next slide, or you want to? Okay. All right. Well, I think that about takes us to the end.
Right.
If you guys, we'll do the questions here in a moment.
Yeah, and so if there are any questions, but we love to share everything we learn, and if you have questions or maybe even you have good ideas, please share them with us. Here's our Twitter handles @CYoungEdTech. Kyle.
And Kyle.
Kyle, if you watched The Office, I was joking that I was going to call him the assistant to the presenter today. Yes. But Kyle is @Mr.Kline_EdTech.
So I guess if you have any questions feel free to put them in the chat box here. I know we kind of went through things real quick. The biggest thing when you get your box is to start with a game and maybe talk to somebody that has run it. Honestly, once you run through the game a second time or a third time, it makes you feel much better. I did a Pi Day activity yesterday in a 6th grade math class and an 8th grade math class, and the teachers were both really wide-eyed at the beginning because I couldn't be in both rooms at the same time. And so like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, it's okay, we'll get through it. By like the second time, the third time they ran it, they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm good, you can go ahead. So you just become a better facilitator also.
Yeah, if I would give advice to someone doing it the first time, I would do a pre-made, already created game. We tried to, for a couple reasons. One, the first time we did it, we created our own, and we spent probably 3 or 4 hours creating the game. And then at the end, it was like, that was fun, but that was a lot of work for one lesson. When you do a game that's already been created, number one, you learn different ideas for setting codes and coming up with clues. If you're trying to create clues yourself the first time, you can be creative, but you can kind of take other ideas and make them your own when you're copying somebody else's game. So I would highly recommend doing that the first time. Then after that, you get better at setting the locks, and it's a lot of fun.
I guess no questions yet. So I guess one other thing I'll add is it's not just locks and everything. I mean, Chris and I went through how you use Google Drawings. If you go through the time warp game, there's actually where you have to email. I think it's like fathervent@gmail. But what it does is it auto returns a response back to you, and so you're able to include all things Google, which is great because of the sharing and the links. I know I've seen some other people that have used, but we use Bitly shortened URLs today, and we use like pictures and things like that. So you're not stuck with just like the tangible items, but you can do all kinds of things online as well.
And before we go, I would just like to share the link to this presentation. So if anybody wanted the link, here's the link to the presentation. So all the links, that breakout, the virtual breakout, that's on there. So you can feel free to use anything that's on here.
Well, guys, I would say either everyone is overwhelmed or you have provided every little bit of information that anybody could possibly need.
Well, we tried to do a good job for you, Mary. Even if the Wi-Fi would not work for us that well.
Well, thank you guys so much. And yeah, since we don't have any questions, I'm guessing that yeah, it's one of those two things. But thank you all. Thank you for sharing your contact information and also this presentation. And that's, I mean, this whole sharing thing. Why not share everything? Like, why have people recreate the wheel when somebody's already created it and is willing to share it? So we really appreciate you guys and your openness and your sharing. And,
sure.
And to Rachel, shout out to Rachel for her stuff too.
Right. Yeah, she should have probably been on here doing this with us. She does an awesome job with Breakout.
Well, next time, I'm sure that as this is becoming more popular, that more people are going to be wanting to know about it. So, again, if I'm already kind of thinking about getting ready for next school year. So we may be looking at like an end of the summer or beginning of the school year, another BreakoutEDU webinar. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and if you attend some of these INE Learn,
the Summer Review Learning Conferences.
I know in Lafayette there's a planned breakout room with BreakoutEDU that we're running. At the Greenfield Applemania Summer Review Learn, there's a breakout room. In Vincennes, their e-learning, we're doing a breakout room. So, definitely attend the Summer Review Learn. And the neat thing about it is you have teachers do this, and when they experience it for the first time as a student, you can see their wheels start to turn. you know, like all the different ways they can implement it in their classroom. It's pretty powerful.
Definitely. Excellent. All right. Well, hey, why don't we, I don't know if it's beautiful and sunny everywhere in the state, but right now in the Indianapolis area, it's gorgeous. So let's close up shop a little bit before 5 or 4, depending on where you're at. And everybody have a great evening. Again, thank you to Kyle and Chris for spending the hour with us from a parking lot in Peru, Indiana. And everybody have a great night and a great rest of the week.
All right.
Thank you, Mary.
South Bend also with the summer conference. Thank you.
Yep.
Sure thing. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
$50 a day.